SuperTalk Mississippi Media production.
I'm Steve Azar, and I'm on the other side of the microphone, meaning I'm asking the questions this time, and oh, have mercy for the airwaves. I spent 20 years in Music City, wrote and made some hits, traveled the world, and then moved my family back to the birthplace of American music and where the magnolia trees prosper. And now every time I put my feet on Mississippi soil, when I'm off the road, well, I'm at peace. On this show, it's all about hearing the stories straight from the mouths of the friends I've made along the way, their journey to success. Heck, there might be someone on, I don't even know, but you know how us Mississippi types are. We tend to take well to new company. In a Mississippi Minute, all 60 of them. I'm Steve Azar.
It's just like that muddy river, moving slow. Ain't no worries, it's how life goes, baby. In a Mississippi Minute.
Hey folks, time for another In a Mississippi Minute. Steve Azar here. Grateful for you tuning in. Reminding you, my pals over at visitmississippi.org, we're the birthplace of America's music. We don't have a lot of skiing here unless it's on water. We got plenty of beautiful water to ski on. I grew up on the Mississippi River. It's just outside my door here, actually. But today we're going to go into the mountains and someone who has changed the landscape, if I may say so. I mean, it's like flat to her. She's made a career hanging out on the edge of mountain cliffs to the inner landscape of the human mind. She's a former member of the U.S. ski team. My buddy Terry Ahola back in the day. I'm wondering if she knew Terry, the Mayer brothers, all those guys. But then she transitioned into the greatest female extreme skier of all time. Throughout the 1990s, she pushed the limits of what was possible in the mountains, starring in more than 20 ski films, performing daring cliffs and ski mountaineering feats, and even making the first female ski descent of Wyoming's Grand, I've heard this pronounced Grand Teton and Grand Teton in 1997. She's going to fix me in a minute. After nearly 2 decades as a professional athlete, she retired from skiing in 2003 and turned her focus towards something many people struggle with, both on and off the mountain: fear. Today, she is a performance coach, a speaker, an author who helps athletes, leaders, and everyday people transform their relationship with anxiety. There's a whole lot of that going around these days. Her book, The Art of Fear, Why Conquering Fear Won't Work, and What to Do Instead. Bottom line, this book and she teaches that fear can be understood, accepted, and even used as a powerful ally. She's been featured in outlets like NPR, The Wall Street Journal, Forbes, USA Today. The list goes on, and she continues to run mindset-focused ski camps. They're not free, in Utah that many participants describe as life-changing. I'm excited to talk to her about extreme skiing, the psychology of fear, and what the mountains can teach us all about ourselves. Please welcome in the one and only Kristen Ulmer.
Hi, Steve. Hi, everyone.
I appreciate you jumping in. I know you and I have had a little struggle on time zones today, but, we're here now, so I appreciate it.
Figured it out.
Yeah, we did. First thing I want to do is ask you this. Coming from a guy, I want you to picture the Mississippi Delta, and I want you to understand it is flat. Great agriculture, and the only hill that we have is the levee, which protects us from the Mississippi River. So for me, all my friends I mentioned earlier, and then even Nick Baumgartner, who's had a big successful run, he's a buddy of ours as well. Both Terry Ahola and Nick Baumgartner were from the UP. Where did you grow up? It's insane what they do to me, and what you do is insane to them. So it's all relative. But where'd you grow up?
I grew up in New Hampshire, and I moved to Utah right out of high school. And I skied in jeans until I was 20 years old. And then within 3 years after that, 23 years old, I was on the U.S. ski team for moguls. I wasn't a ski racer. I was a mogul skier. And I was also considered the best woman big mountain extreme skier in the world, which are two different sports. And I never had any coaching or training except for a couple lessons in second grade. So I'm the anomaly. I'm definitely the poster child for mindset only. That's the only thing that matters is mindset.
For folks out there that are listening, a lot of our listeners, they have kids, they have AAU, they have all these travel sports, travel baseball. You know, sometimes you got to go into the system in a sport. I know Terry and I know Nick all left their UP homes and headed to Vail and trained as young teenagers to prepare themselves for what was coming. What did you do without a coach, without all that professional training that added up to be such a success?
Well, people say that sports are all mental, but it's actually 0% mental. It's actually
You're
all
mental, all right, just FY
Yeah.
compared to me. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. I'm joking.
It's all the second you're in your mind, like if you're creating music or that being a professional athlete, certainly what I was doing, because it was big mountain extreme skiing, I'm jumping off cliffs, I'm skiing terrain in a super creative way. It's not mental. It's in your body. It's more physical. It's emotional. It's more an embodied wisdom. And I also want to talk, of course, about our relationship with fear. It's also our relationship with fear. Like people who are drawn to fear, that are drawn to, certainly in my case, intense experiences where I could die or get seriously injured. That's a sign of my relationship with fear being inclusive. Like I wanted to feel fear. I was addicted to feeling fear. So there's just a lot that goes into somebody becoming a world-class anything. And I just touched upon a few of them. If we can leave our mind behind and if we have the right kind of relationship with fear, then that's going to take us a long ways.
You grew up in New Hampshire. I'm trying to understand your lack of concern for fear. Okay. So is this something maybe that you developed a little bit on the way? I read something recently because of your book, and I'm excited to dive into The Art of Fear, folks. By the way, Kristen Ulmer, you got to check it out. No one understands this better than her except for Evel Knievel, and he's not around to talk about it anymore. Folks, sometimes they don't even calculate in their DNA fear. It's not there. So when they sort of test them in some regard, some people, get them on a roof that's barely pitched and they're freaking out and there tingles through their legs and all that. Do you fear anything at all, or is that something you work toward to get to?
I fear everything. And what you're referring to is probably the test that was done on Alex Honnold, the guy that free soloed El Capitan.
That's exactly right. That's right.
He's a good friend of mine. And there's a rumor going around. And he was tested by scientists. But like I said, he's a friend of mine. I talked to him at length about this. He said it was a stupid test. It was not realistic at all. Of course, he doesn't have a damaged amygdala. He doesn't have a kind of a shrunken fear response like the rumor suggests. He has fear just like everybody else. His amygdala is functioning just like everybody else. Here's the secret to people like him and people like me. Now, extreme skiing, what does that even mean? The word extreme, let me clarify. It means that the consequences of failure are injury or death. So I was definitely dealing with more fear than the average citizen. And it was something that I choose to bring into my life on a daily basis. There's like fear that happens to us, divorce, a cancer scare, getting mugged at gunpoint, a snake jumps on our head. But then there's fear that we actually choose. Like I am choosing to put myself on the top of a mountain that could avalanche and I could die. Alex Honnold is choosing to free solo El Capitan. And the secret behind extreme athletes, dangerous sports athletes, is not that we are fearless. That's the romantic ideal. There is no such thing as fearlessness. Nobody is fearless. It's undesirable. It's actually, fear is a performance enhancer. So you don't want to not have fear. Alex actually said, if I didn't have any fear, I would have died for sure. Right. And he would have tried it the first year he was in Yosemite, but he didn't. He tried it, 10 years in. And this is the process that where somebody like me can do wild and wilder things. And he can get to the point after 10 years where he free solos El Capitan is two things. The first thing is he's willing to feel fear. And thus he's putting himself in that situation where there's fear, choosing fear. And the second thing is he has intimacy with fear, not the absence of fear, but actually the radical willingness to feel it. And then in many ways, a love affair with it. Like we're fear addicts. We're not fearless. We're fear addicts. We love feeling fear and we have an intimate relationship with fear. And the fear is a performance enhancer where I'm Batman and fear is Robin and we're stronger together than apart. And that's what's really going on with extreme athletes.
The Art of Fear by Kristen Ulmer. She is with me today. Visit Mississippi.org, the greatest, the birthplace of America's music. Just FYI, Kristen, just outside my door, about 9 miles away, Jim Henson and the Muppets. That's where it all came from. Just trying to give her a little bit of my mountains that maybe she would like to come visit and climb. We'll be right back. I'm Steve Azar.
I'm Bill Hemmer, and these are the most impactful moments in American history. May 25th, 1978. A seemingly normal package arrived at the campus at Northwestern University, addressed to a Professor Buckley Christ. Professor Christ immediately became suspicious of the unfamiliar package and alerted campus security. Officer Terry Marker opened the box, triggering a homemade bomb to detonate, injuring his hand. The explosion marked the first attack tied to the domestic terrorist who would later become known as the Unabomber, known only by a sketch of a faceless figure with sunglasses and a hoodie. His name was Ted Kaczynski. Over the course of 17 long years, he terrorized the country, sending out sophisticated handmade bombs that killed 3 and injured 23 others until the day he was captured by the FBI in 1996. I'm Bill Hemmer, Fox News.
This is a special alert to all the...
When I was 16, I knew everything. Opportunity grew on.
Having a hoot already with, I guess he could have been called a wild child. I was called a wild child growing up, but I am nothing compared to Kristen Ulmer, my guest today. I'm not sure she has visited Mississippi yet, but as a music and culture ambassador of our hallowed ground we call Mississippi, maybe I can give her an invite. Visit Mississippi.org, plan a road trip, folks. Eat your way around Mississippi. You won't regret it. Great chefs in Mississippi. Kristen's in Utah. Are you in Utah? Is that right?
Yep.
My nephew went to Utah from Seattle, Washington, just because he wanted to ski, and he is pretty much an extreme skier, the top of the mountain and all that stuff, but nothing like what you've done. What led you? So can you look back and trace back where it all started for you?
You know, that's an interesting question. And oddly enough, nobody's ever asked me that. I've done 200 podcasts. I've been interviewed as, right? And when I hear where like what is it that started? And of course, we're talking about fear. So where did my unique love affair relationship with fear start? That's what I don't know how to answer. But let me start talking and see what I come up with. I remember as a kid, I always wanted to camp in the backyard by myself when I was 5 years old. And my mom's like, what? No, you can't do that. I wanted to, my parents were complete free range parents. Like I would go out, and hang out at the local college at the frat parties when I was 14 years old and stay out all night. I don't remember ever asking for permission. I don't remember sneaking out, and I don't remember getting in trouble. So I do know they had a very free range parenting upbringing. Like my mom just trusted me. And then what happened is I started traveling the world. I went to Asia. I went to Africa by myself. I rode my bicycle across India alone in 1991. I just started doing all these risky behaviors because they made me feel so alive. And these things that we do for excitement, we don't do them despite the fear. We do them because of the fear. And I was just slowly becoming a fear addict. And I happen to be a skier, and I happen to be pretty good at it, and I happen to have the right body type for skiing, and I had the right relationship with fear, where all of a sudden my primary resource for, when I say I'm an addict to fear, it's no less dangerous than being a heroin addict, and it's no less problematic. But I would say that my primary fix eventually came from the skiing and not from the international danger travel. So that's probably where it just built up, I guess.
Jump to motivational speaking. We're going to hop around a little bit because I'm just thinking about you as a speaker. I can imagine that you're very charismatic and you demand attention because of your history and your past. I can't wait to dig into the book. I hadn't had time yet. I sort of did a little studying on it, but the art of fear, why conquering fear won't work and what to do instead. I love that. We all need to understand that. Who's your audience? High school kids and beyond, folks that are in business, obviously athletes, companies looking to get their employees to step outside the box and not just stay satisfied with the norm, to make their company stronger and better and more successful. I kind of have a feeling it's pretty wide ranged. What does that look like when you go and speak?
When I go speak, like I just gave a 90-minute keynote to Microsoft a couple weeks ago. Everybody has fear. Every single person on the planet, every single moment of every single day, we all are experiencing fear. And I'm sure your audience is like, what? That's not true, because they usually equate fear with being scared or afraid. Mm-hmm. And fear is a noun. It's a feeling, a sensation that's flowing through your bodies like water through a hose. Scared and afraid are adjectives. They're action words. So there are only two ways that fear actually shows up in our lives. And they're very rare, and they're only very specific to certain moments in our lives. Like, I have never felt scared or afraid in my life. Actually, that's not true. I felt scared or afraid 3 times when in contact with wild animals, a little bit too close for comfort. But for me, like, I've never stood at the top of a mountain where I could die and felt scared or afraid. What I feel when I feel fear is excitement, presence, focus, aliveness. Fear also shows up as anger. I actually, the more I look into it, the more I realize that anger probably isn't even an emotion at all. It's just fear's fight energy, or it's repressed fear coming out in a sideways way, like punching holes in walls and stuff. Worry, nervousness, other names for fear. And just back to your original question, who is my book for? I kind of screwed up. I shouldn't have called it The Art of Fear. I should have called it maybe The Art of Anxiety, because most people don't make the association between fear and anxiety. Like, somebody will say, well, I don't have any fear, but I'm pickled in anxiety, or I have an anxiety disorder. But I use the words interchangeably because anxiety is the new word that we've given fear, because nobody wants to admit to feeling fear. There's too much of a stigma associated with it, right? But everybody's willing to admit to feeling anxiety. There's no stigma.
Obviously, that's a big buzzword now. I mean, you're having all the, kids are going to doctors way sooner. I don't know about you, but I wasn't allowed to go to see any sort of doctor about my anxiety growing up because it wasn't a word. It wasn't something my parents ever used nor were concerned about with me, but we definitely notice it in our children. You and I sort of grew up in the same time. Is that sort of generational? You think that it's becoming more so, or has it always been there and our generation has just paid more attention to it than our parents?
It's always been there, but let me just explain the difference between fear and anxiety. So fear is with us every moment of every single day and every single interaction we have. It's just how it is. Anxiety is excessive fear that seems out of proportion to our life situation, that's just stuck going round and round in our bodies, that is seemingly there for no reason. And I think that it's always, fear has always been there, but nobody was willing to cop to it. There's too much fear shaming going on in the world. We're embarrassed about it. We hide it. We try to rationalize it away. But now, because we're willing to talk about it, we're actually giving it a new word, which is anxiety, which is more socially acceptable. Like, nobody is willing to admit to feeling fear, but they are willing to admit to feeling anxiety. And I think that it's more prevalent today because we're talking about it. And I mean, it's not that it's more prevalent. It's more talked about today, but I also do think it's more prevalent because with the internet and more happens in 20 minutes than used to happen in our grandparents' era in 20
Obviously,
years,
you and I, we could have a month. We could talk about this for a Mississippi month and a Utah month. I mean, you're exactly right. This
is the most important thought that I want to make.
Okay.
Now, because there's more fear and we have no idea how to handle it. What we're taught to do, which is conquer and overcome it, let it go, rationalize it away. None of that works. Because we have no idea how to handle it. We kink the hose on it And then that seems to stop the flow. And now it's just recirculating, stuck, going round and round in our body, showing up as anxiety. And then modern anxiety treatments are just more ways to kink the hose. So actually the treatments for anxiety disorders are part of the cause. So at this point, we're on track to pretty much everyone eventually going to be on medication if we keep on giving the same bad advice about what to do.
My goodness. Fear. Oh my goodness. Let's take a quick break. I need a break. I need to go lay on the couch for a second. My therapist here right now, Kristen Ulmer, her book, The Art of Fear. Please check it out. No one understands the fear like she does. Next to Evel Knievel. Can I put you guys in the same category? Is that a compliment? Because that's the only person in history I can think that matches what you've accomplished and achieved and feared, I guess. Let's take a quick break. Visit Mississippi.org. Check it out. Follow the blues trail markers. You're going to end up in Liverpool. I'll be right back. I'm Steve Azar.
Doing it right. I saw the light. Sun came up in the middle of the night. Been doing it wrong for so long. I sure ought to know what it finally feels like. I sure ought to know what it finally feels like. I sure ought to know what it finally feels like to be doing it. I'm doing it right. I'm still trying to find my way.
Up to $20,000 available for first-time homebuyers. Hey folks, Steve Azar here. Helping is the heart of our friends at Guarantee Bank. They offer programs like the Homebuyer Equity Leverage Partnership Grant that can assist qualified first-time homebuyers with up to $20,000 towards down payment and provide home ownership counseling to empower you on your journey. These funds are first come, first served. Learn more about this program and to apply now, go to gbtonline.com. Guarantee Bank, member FDIC.
Democracy 2026.
AI firm Anthropic is launching a corporate political action committee called AnthroPAC. Employees can contribute up to $5,000 each to any candidate they choose. Some Republicans worry that money will mostly go to Democrats. That's because some of Anthropic's highest profile investors and board members have contributed over $200 million to Democrats since 2020. Investor Dustin Moskovitz gave $110 million, and Reed Hastings, who sits on Anthropic's board, has given over $26 million to Democrats, according to Federal Election Commission data. That lopsided past spending is notable, as the Trump administration proposes its national policy framework for AI. It wants to prevent a patchwork of conflicting state laws, and most AI heavyweights are in the White House's corner. But as Anthropic is making a lot of noise and raising a lot of dough on the other side of the aisle, the midterms may come down to whose AI war chest is biggest. Lauren Simonetti, Fox News.
From the Seabrook.com. In a Mississippi Minute with Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
We're all alone in the river and I don't know whether
Kristen Ulmer is my guest today. I sounded like Mr. Rogers just then. You guys hang in with me. Visit Mississippi.org. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to do this show into my 9th year. I love my Mississippi, and I love sharing folks from around the globe who do incredibly special things with their lives, become crazy motivational in what they do, and inspirational to so many. And that is my guest today, Kristen Ulmer, her book, The Art of Fear. I don't know if I agree with you. As a songwriter, I like the art of fear. I love that word. It rings, and I know the big buzzwords, anxiety. Do you think that folks they don't like to admit they're scared of something? Even in our athletic days, you get those nerves, right before the first stepped up to the plate. No matter what sport it was, you needed to sort of get into the moment before those butterflies went away. And you always kind of love those butterflies in a certain way because you needed to have them to be excited about what you were about to do. But once they went away, then you were locked and loaded into the game. And you have this regret about wanting to be the art of anxiety. I know, because that would probably be a cool idea. Maybe that's your second book. I just think The Art of Fear makes a lot of sense for me. Do you think people are afraid to admit they're scared?
Absolutely. And I am writing a book about anxiety right now. It'll be about another year.
I knew it. I knew it. Okay. Another year. Okay.
Right. And it's going to challenge the anxiety healthcare industry dramatically. So that's coming.
Well, after the last thing we just talked about, into the break, I can tell that really matters to you, how we're handling anxiety, especially in our youth.
Yes. What we're doing isn't working. And as evidenced by the growing statistics on anxiety disorders, depression, OCD, PTSD, and on and on, we've come up with great symptom control to get us through another day. But what we're doing is not solving this problem. We don't even have an explanation for what causes these things. Well, I have figured out what causes these things, and I have figured out a permanent solution. And I'm writing a book right now, tentatively called 5 Chapters to Freedom. No more symptom control, how to solve anxiety for good. So you got to give me about another year for that.
But let's back up, and this has something to do with what we're talking about now. You grabbed the pen. So as a songwriter, there was a time in my life where we were like in songwriter boot camp. We had to write 2-3 songs a day just because you just didn't know when you were going to stumble across something. And you were also really working on your craft and all that. So doing it was a good idea and a bad idea in a lot of ways until you really had time to let the pen sort of grab your hand rather than you grabbing the pen. So what got you to finally sit down with all of this knowledge and history and experience? What was that epiphany, and what made you go, I got to write this book?
When I retired from professional danger sports, and I did a lot of other sports at a high level that were dangerous besides skiing. I was a really good rock climber, ice climber, paraglider pilot. I started kiteboarding in the 90s. I mentioned I rode my bike across India. I owned a flying trapeze school. If it was dangerous, I was into it. And I devoted my life until 2003 to that. And the second I retired from professional danger sports, my first thought was, well, that was stupid. Right?
To retire.
No, that to have done
to do all those things.
I was really lucky to be alive. I've had over 100 friends die doing these sports.
That was another question. Have you seen death?
Yeah. I've had over 60 near-death experiences, and I just it's embarrassing almost. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, you keep mentioning Evel Knievel, and he would do one stunt, I don't know, a year.
You were doing how many?
Doing them every day. And if you look at style motocrossers too, they're doing them, every 15 minutes, what Evel would do back in the day. And I mean, it's so dangerous. And the other thing that I realized is I had learned very little except for, hedonism and the gratification of my massive ski ego, right? I was getting a lot of attention. I was famous. I made a bunch of money, but what really had I learned? And so what happened next is I started studying with a Zen master. In particular, I was interested in studying because I was called fearless. If that was really true, I started studying an Eastern approach to fear, and I learned a facilitation tool called voice dialogue, and I started facilitating conversations between people and their fear. And I put the puzzle together, and all of a sudden, I'm like, I have a reason for my ski career to have even existed. It didn't make any sense while I was a professional skier. It didn't seem right. I'm way more intelligent than this. What am I doing with my life? And then finally I realized that all the stars had aligned for me to have the unique opportunity and history to put the puzzle together on exactly what causes problems for people with fear and anxiety, what to do about it that nobody's ever heard about before. And then I realized I needed to share this with the world. So I wrote The Art of Fear. Now I'm writing about anxiety, and this is my reason for being. This is the centerpiece of my life. The ski career was just an education to get me here.
That you survived. Kristen Omer is my guest today. The Art of Fear is her book. And like I said, nobody understands fear like she does. Very few in the world. Can I ask you, like any great athlete that says you stop, you're done, it's over? In your situation, it was a little different from, friends we have that played other sports that have been doing it their whole life, and then they got to sort of recommit themselves to another passion and sort of settle into like a regular life. yours obviously sounds like it was a relief that you could just give up all that and you survived it all. What was it like when you said that's it? Where were you emotionally?
I had just gotten back from Burning Man, and that explains a lot.
So you're out there listening to music. I mean, that fixes everything.
Yeah, and I realized that I was really all about radical self-expression, and Burning Man satisfied that need, like the need for radically expressing myself on the mountain, like what I was feeling inside, is how I skied very aggressively. And then I realized I could satisfy that need at Burning Man. And now I can satisfy that need through writing books and giving talks or interviews like this. Like I'm still me, but it's taken on different forms, like this radical authenticity that's come out. And I can't remember exactly what your question was, but
I think that how did you emotionally, how were you? How'd you fit back into regular life without all that excitement?
Oh, it was such an easy transition for me.
Okay.
I am probably the only one. I was so ready to be done, and I stopped risking my life on a dime and never looked back. I do not miss it in the slightest. If somebody called me up and said, "You want to go ski the Grand Teton again or Everest?" I'd be like, "Oh, hell no."
It is Teton. Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
I said Teton. I didn't say it right at all. Teton.
Close enough.
It's not even let me look like that. I got to have an extra, vowel to make that work with me down here in Mississippi. Teton. I do want to talk to you about that experience. And we got about a minute. You want to break into that a little bit? What was that like?
Let me finish up, though. Let me just
finish up. We'll talk about it on the other side.
Yeah, I really just was relieved for it to be over because I was set to die. Like I was going to die doing these sports, and I just felt stupid, like I was saying. And I needed to sleep for 10 years just because I was dealing with so much fear. And when you're in that kind of fear state all the time, your body doesn't know the difference between fear for excitement or fear getting chased by a tiger every day. I just needed to recover my adrenal system. And there's other ways for me to have an exciting life besides something that might kill me. So we'll leave it at that.
I want to really get back to my question that I never got an answer for because I probably interrupted you. I should be listening better. I'm sorry. I want to talk to you about really what made you grab the pen, like really what made you go, I'm writing this book. Because that takes a lot of dedication. It takes a lot of time and commitment. We'll take a quick break. Kristen Ulmer, the book, The Art of Fear, it's out. Visit Mississippi.org. That's for real. Check it out. So many wonderful folks. We just celebrated B.B. King's 100th anniversary. Can you imagine? If he was still around, I promise you he'd still be playing live all over the place. That's what he did best. So many other things, man. B.B., what a man. We'll be right back. I'm Steve Azar. $20,000 available for first-time home buyers. Hey folks, Steve Azar here. Helping is the heart of our friends at Guarantee Bank. They offer programs like the Home Buyer Equity Leverage Partnership Grant that can assist qualified first-time home buyers with up to $20,000 towards down payment and provide home ownership counseling to empower you on your journey. These funds are first come, first served. Learn more about this program and to apply now, go to gbtonline.com. Guarantee Bank, member FDIC.
There's a ton of content from SuperTalk Mississippi on our new YouTube channel. Just search SuperTalk Mississippi on YouTube or go to supertalk.fm/YouTube. Be sure and subscribe for free to get the latest scoop on what's happening in Mississippi news, politics, sports, and the good things happening here in the state.
Your next customer is searching online right now. Will they find you or your competitor? If your website is outdated, slow, or hard to use on a phone, you could be losing business every day. SuperTalk Mississippi Media builds sharp, mobile-friendly websites that look great and work even better, and they're more affordable than you might think. We can drive customers to your new website with powerful radio commercials and targeted digital ads on Facebook, Google, TikTok, Hulu, and more. Call SuperTalk Mississippi Media at 601-991-2305 or visit stmmdigital.com.
Barden Mama here for
Are right here on Super Talk Mississippi.
Silver whistle and an old clipboard, a polo shirt and a pair of gray shorts in that summer haze. Remember those 2 days.
Got a short segment left with a lady that has not lived a short life at all. She's survived all sorts of crazy feats that no woman in history ever even attempted. Kristen Ulmer is my guest today. The Art of Fear is her book. She's working on a new book, more focused on anxiety, it sounds like. And visit Mississippi.org allows me to have conversations with incredibly wonderful folks like Kristen. Kristen, get back real quick. I just want to make sure that I got that answer about what got you to grab the pen.
What got me to grab the pen was that I realized that, and I hinted at it before, that my entire ski career was just grooming me or building me up to be an expert on fear. Because, would you rather take advice from somebody who learned about what to do about fear and anxiety in a university, or would you rather learn it from somebody like me who
I'd rather learn from you.
Life for a living?
Yeah, I'm learning right now, by the way. Yes, yeah, the answer is yes.
Yeah. And I didn't want to be known for my career. Like, I feel like my ski career is like this appendage that just keeps following me around. Like, I want to be known as the expert on fear in the world. Like, this is my reason for being. It's my everything. And I realized that 15 years as a professional athlete, being considered fearless, and me just figuring out what people who take huge risks, whether it be in sports or business or music or what have you, like people that really put themselves out there, what is their relationship with fear, and what can we learn from that relationship with fear to actually solve anxiety and anxiety issues? Like that, is way more sexy and interesting than my ski career as far as I'm concerned. And so I had to write this book.
Are you missing the thrill of what you all were able to you were able to experience, just the thrill factor of it?
No, because it was an unhealthy addiction. I was addicted to fear, and I had found like the best source. If you compare it to addiction to heroin, like the best source of heroin you can find is big mountain extreme skiing. You go out there in the mountains and you're staring down something that your heart is in your throat. It's so dangerous, and it kills people. Like, I would have died if I had continued, because what I would have done is done less cliff jumping because I was getting older, and I would have gone and done more ski mountaineering. And everyone I know that has become a professional ski mountaineer, my friend Hillary just recently died. I just had a friend die yesterday in an avalanche. It's still happening.
Oh my goodness, bless you. Sorry.
It's just a matter of time, and I didn't want that to be my legacy. I wanted to actually first go big and then go deep.
And you want to be able to enjoy. It sounds like you are at such a great place now, and you're sharing all these experiences and what you were going through inside with the rest of us. And I think that that's probably your greatest calling. If you think about it, what are you going to do after the fact, after it all? And it sounds like you're doing it all for the good. Let's get to Teton real quick. Wyoming's Grand Teton in 1997, the first female ski descent. How did you prepare physically and emotionally, mentally, for me, understanding how you get in shape for something like this?
Because I was a professional athlete, I was already in shape for it. I was also a really good rock climber and an ice climber. And this was before the words free solo had even been introduced to the world. But I attempted it twice, and both times we free soloed the mountain. We didn't use ropes. And I didn't even think a thing about it because we had to, because it was in an avalanche chute. And if an avalanche came while we were climbing this particular, it was 1,000-foot ice waterfall, then we would have died, whether we had been roped in or not. So we had to just go really, really fast. And that's why there was a short section each time where I had a rope on me, but it was tied to the person above me. If I had fallen, I would have just killed my friends, It's just stupid. But, the training was just being a really exceptional skier, being a competent and confident rock climber and ice climber, and having the ambition to do it. And frankly, I didn't really know how big of a deal it was going to become. I'm in the history books. There were so many articles written about that. It was a big deal when I did that.
You've got encyclopedias full of Google. I just want you to know that.
Exactly.
Google your name, your pages and pages and pages. It goes and goes and goes. Yeah.
And I didn't know until afterwards. I'm like, wow, this is a big deal, I guess. And then I also found out that another woman didn't climb and ski it for another 10 years after me. Yeah. And that was kind of cool to find out.
I thank you. I appreciate you taking the time. A Mississippi Minute's not long enough for me to really delve into everything that you have accomplished. I'm grateful for you for hanging out with me. I appreciate it.
It's been wonderful. And last words, if you really didn't have any fear, and keep in mind, I'm not talking scared or afraid, you would be bored out of your mind and you would stop immediately.
Exactly. Kristen Ulmer is my guest today. The Art of Fear. Kristen Ulmer, The Art of Fear. No one understands fear greater than her. You know she wrote the right things cover to cover. I'll see you later. I'm Steve Azar. Thank you so much, Kristen. Take care. Blessings later.
I'm Steve Azar. In a Mississippi Minute, all 60 of them, where you can take your sweet time.
Your next customer is searching online right now. Will they find you or your competitor? If your website is outdated, slow, or hard to use on a phone, you could be losing business every day. SuperTalk Mississippi Media builds sharp, mobile-friendly websites that look great and work even better, and they're more affordable than you might think. We can drive customers to your new website with powerful radio commercials and targeted digital ads on Facebook, Google, TikTok, Hulu, and more. Call SuperTalk Mississippi Media at 601-991-2305 or visit stmmdigital.com.
A SuperTalk Mississippi Media production.